Good evening. Here we are back on a Monday with some pretty good games taking place yesterday. Tonight, we got two games being the Washington football team versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is taking place right now. I just looked. It was 17-17 with about 5 left to go in a Steelers ball. So that game's going to end here soon. And then we also got the Buffalo Bills coming up against the San Francisco 49ers. And then we got one more tomorrow. I believe it's the Cowboys and Ravens. So, however, though, today we are going to talk about a couple things from the slate of games we had yesterday. So, are you ready to get your fix? How about them Pats, huh? 45-0 over the Chargers, who, by the way, have only lost one game this season, more than 8 points, and that was last week against the Bills. Now they lost by 45. Did you know that Cam Newton only had 69 passing yards on 12 completions? How good is this Chargers team actually? Because yesterday, they looked like they just showed up to the first preseason game and hoped to play somewhat good and see what happens after. The Chargers got manhandled by the Patriots, who don't have a single weapon on offense. I'm still not sold on Cam Newton being the future going forward, but you can start to see that Bill, has got a good grasp on how to utilize Cam. Okay, Cam Newton is a running quarterback and excels when he's able to roll outside the pocket and use his feet to his advantage. There's a reason Cam only had 69 passing yards, okay, because that's not his game, really. Okay, running is his game. Yesterday, Cam had the Patriots' second most rushing yards and carries with 14 carries for 48 yards and 2 touchdowns. Okay, this is what you need to expect from Cam Newton every Sunday because, like I said earlier, Cam is at his best when he uses his legs. Now, this was a great overall win for the Patriots, 45-0. I thought the Chargers probably were going to come away with a victory here, but hey, that Patriots team looked really good, and that special teams is playing top-notch football. So let's switch gears to the New York Jets, who traveled to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. Now, I'll be honest, I thought the Jets were going to come away with their first win, okay, but they failed, 24-28 in the fourth quarter, and the Jets had more than I think it was about like 3 opportunities to take this game and run away with it, but they just couldn't get into the end zone. The Jets let Darren Waller, who pretty much do whatever he wanted the entire game, and honestly, if they would have stopped him, they probably win this game. Okay, Waller had 13 receptions for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. This Jets defense is awful and is the main reason they lost the game. They pretty much had this game in the bag and only needed one stop to win because there was 5 seconds left on the clock, and their defense gave up a 46-yard touchdown pass to Henry Ruggs. Blown coverage is not going to get this team anywhere. Okay, this is a really bad Jets team, and this morning, I guess they fired their defensive coordinator, and I understand it, okay? But why only him? Do they not realize that their head coach, Adam Gase, is terrible and their GM thinks he knows how to draft but hasn't had any success? You need defensive pieces. Yeah, you need some offensive pieces as well, but your offensive line can be just fine, okay? You need a weapon at wide receiver. You have Sam Darnold. Go get a running back, but you need something on that defensive side because you have nothing. I just don't understand. So, when you make the wrong moves, it's going to come back to bite you, and I promise you, if the Jets decide to stick with Gase for next season, which I don't think they will, their record isn't going to look any better, even if they get Trevor Lawrence. Okay, the Jets are a lost cause at this point and probably for the next couple of years. Finally, let's go talk about the Denver Broncos going to Arrowhead Stadium to take on the Kansas City Chiefs in what should have been a blowout, but was actually a pretty good game. Look, this is obviously a really, really good Chiefs team, but this is now the second time this season I've noticed there's a couple holes in their offense. The first thing to note is putting pressure on Mahomes. If you consistently put pressure on Mahomes, he has to roll outside the pocket, which he does just fine, but it makes him hit the shorter routes rather than those big ones where Tyreek Hill might be open, and throwing those shorter routes gives the defense a chance to make a play, okay, and get the ball back quicker. We've seen Mahomes throw sidearm and stuff. Yeah, it's accurate, but what if he has that one that's, a hair off? I mean, this leads me to my next point too, slowing down Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. You don't have to stop Mahomes. Everybody thinks you have to stop the quarterback to win the game. No. Okay, you slow down his weapons. Take away his weapons from his game, and he's done. Okay, Mahomes is going to do what he always does, okay, and play at a high level. However, if you slow down those top two receivers, Hill and Kelsey, you have a chance to win the game. You honestly do. Now, the Broncos didn't exactly slow them down, being that, Kelsey had 136 receiving yards, but they put enough pressure on Mahomes where they stayed in the game. But if you slow these two down enough, you have a good chance coming away with a win, like I noted. Yesterday, we watched a young quarterback, Drew Lock, go to Kansas City and make mistakes against a solid defense, and that's what lost them the game. The Broncos' defense did just fine. Okay, but with the inexperience that Drew Lock has, that's exactly why they lost this game. And if that were Ben Roethlisberger back there, I honestly think that this game would have been a different outcome. So that's going to end our discussion today, as now we get to watch one more game, the Bills versus the San Francisco 49ers here after this Steelers and Redskins game, which is coming down to the last couple seconds. So we'll see what happens there. We're going to be back here on, I'm going to say, so we got a game tomorrow. We're going to come back here on Wednesday. We're going to talk about this Bills-Niners game and then tomorrow's Ravens-Cowboys game on Wednesday. And then I'll probably give you guys my top 10 in my Week 14 power rankings as well. But anyways, thanks for stopping by. Have a wonderful night. And you just got your fix with the Wicks.